Hi, this is Bethany Gagne, founder of the Albany Peace Interfaith Project, and today I'm here with Marni Gillard, a cradle Catholic and a professional storyteller and part of the Interfaith Storytellers of the Tri-City or something like that, right? What's the name of it?
Interfaith Story Circle of the Tri-City area.
So can you tell people about the Interfaith Story Circle?
Oh, it is my total delight to do that. Over 20 years ago, a Catholic high school teacher who had just retired and had done her graduate work around the idea of how story is a way that people can connect around difficult issues. If you're talking in concepts around morality, let's say, or sexuality with teenagers, it's hard to get the discussion going.
Good point.
But once you've got story going. So Gertrude Johnson, who is retired now from Notre Dame Bishop Gibbons in Schenectady, she said, let's do this with bringing faith groups together. And everybody was excited about it. For a short time, we were meeting in Christian churches, and that wasn't doing it. We had to find a way to go to other houses of worship, mosques, synagogues, temples, and indeed, once we got rolling by doing that, inviting ourselves to come as a group, but inviting someone from that faith tradition to lead us, to just start the story circle off by telling some stories about their faith or their culture. It could be a scriptural story or a folk tale even. We found it was a wonderful discovery how many folk tales are in the Jewish culture, but also in the Muslim culture.
Oh, interesting.
And sometimes in European Christian cultures. So it's like the story of Cinderella is worldwide. Same with cautionary tales,
right.
Like fables.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. So, and each month you have a subject that you focus on, right?
Yes. What we've figured out works best is to pick some subjects that are just a theme, like gratitude or mercy or generosity or just appreciation of creation. But other times we'll specifically say, we're coming to the synagogue, will you pick the theme? And it might be Muhammad's journey at a mosque, or it might be the feminine divine as the Hindus look at the divine. And so it can be very, very interesting that you really begin to hear about another religion, but through story.
Right.
We don't even applaud after somebody tells a story. We just sort of quietly rub our hands like, and let the story just sit there and shimmer for a minute while we take in whatever meaning we take from it, because that's the way with story.
And that's in how powerful story is to help with societal change, for people to tell their stories.
Just be able to tell your stories. Many times after the introductory stories, people will simply tell a life story that is in some way triggered in their memory by the stories that were told. You know, the stories beget stories.
Yeah.
Is an expression in the storytelling world.
Yeah.
You tell me yours, and yes.
Right.
But it's also a real deep listening. We don't interrupt. We do, as I said, just let the stories sit there and kind of, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. How powerful it can be, like fairy tales and those types of things. There's a reason why we tell them over and over again, right?
Absolutely.
It's because we kind of touch some place within ourselves that's almost like eternal themes, right? Or something like that, right?
It totally is. That's very well said. Yes. Eternal, and certainly themes that are across all people, human needs. The way psychology looks at how everybody has certain needs, and those need to be met.
And when we touch that space, as you said, it enriches us, it broadens up us, and you say that when people leave, they just feel kind of fabulous and large and rich, right?
Everybody feels great at the end of the evening.
How powerful. Something so simple, and yet how powerful, right?
It is. It's so simple. I began my storytelling career as a classroom teacher in middle school, and when I started students telling stories, it was amazing to me how they picked stories about who they were,
Right.
or what they were struggling with. I would just sit there with my jaw dropping and wonder, do they even know that they're telling a story about
Right.
exactly what they struggled with?
Right,
It's
exactly.
the unconscious, the deep unconscious or subconscious really needs story and heals. It's a very healing thing,
Right.
the stories you tell as well as the stories that you hear.
And just having your story witnessed, I found that so powerful. And I mean, the people in my life that have just witnessed me through I'm so grateful to them.
Yes.
They're,
Yes.
and to have
Yes.
people witness your story, right,
Yes.
is so powerful.
And the range of stories that we hear are everything from very humorous, some, assistant to the Hindu king who's a trickster, to very, very moving story that could bring tears to people's eyes.
All in one night, right?
All in one night.
Right.
It's really, some stories we walk away so moved.
Right.
And after a number of years, we started a youth group called Children at the Well. And that's an ongoing group now for 10 years.
Wow.
A nonprofit status, so we're always looking for funding. And it started because one 11-year-old girl started coming, a Jewish girl, and she was an amazing storyteller. So her mother said, let's see if we can get some other kids. And we got a grant from the National Storytelling Network, a big
Wow.
national storytelling group.
Nice.
And the next thing you knew, we had Children at the Well, really stories for peace and justice in the world.
So powerful, so powerful. So just to let you know, Marni is going to be coming to Numinous in early September, I believe the first Wednesday or so. And we've chosen that the story is going to be telling our stories about maybe answers to prayer, right?
Answers to prayer, yes.
Because
Yes.
isn't it just beautiful when you hear someone's story about how they've, I don't know.
It's a combination of getting the answer you want
Yeah.
and getting an answer that challenged you.
Yeah.
And in
No,
the end,
absolutely.
you're grateful. You're
Right,
very
either
grateful
way.
for the experience.
Right,
Yes.
right. And
Yes.
I know at Numinous sometimes we'll often share stories like that, and it just touches everyone and inspires everyone. So
It is.
Yeah.
And yet at the same time, it's really important to talk about confidentiality at such a circle.
Mhm.
We do. We bring that
Oh,
up
interesting.
to say that, the story that you've heard is not necessarily your story to tell. Unless, of course, you ask permission and the person said, oh, please. tell it everywhere.
Right.
Yes.
So well, thank you so much, Marni, for your time and sharing this. It's been an interesting experience for me to study storytelling a little bit, and I encourage other people to kind of get on Marni's site. What's your website?
MarniGillard.com.
Yeah. And just explore this whole
MARNI.
concept of storytelling and maybe how it can apply to your life or your organization, or and reach out to Marni.
It's so true. Yeah, it can go across all worlds, the power of story.
So real quick, is there a way, can you plant any seeds as far as how this could be applied to either businesses or,
Oh, if you just Google the word storytelling and business, you'll see that all over people are learning the power of story. And I'm not so much trying to sell a
No,
product
I mean,
or
I
teach
asked you
people
this,
about
yeah.
how to do
I
that.
know,
But
but I
there
wanted
are
to-
wonderful storytellers that
Yeah.
do it. But more about how do we get along? How do we use story as a way to get along in the world? Obviously, at a time when we need that. badly.
absolutely. Yes. So thank you so much for your time, and it's been a lot of fun.
My pleasure. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. All right, that one was way better.
It was better, and I didn't even have to talk about